I drank. I found myself in a sewage. That's the first day. The following day, I drank. There is a field behind here. I was lying there. Panya ikakuja ikaniuma hapa. I think the panya thought like I'm dead. The third day, I drank, and then again I found myself urinating for myself. No, I said
That's
no.
rock bottom.
This is too much. I left my wife with this my firstborn. I never remembered them one day. 3 months down the line, I don't remember my family. I don't even give them a call.
Oh my God. And now you're in a foreign country.
I'm in a foreign country.
The reason nimestick na yeye hata kama ako hivyo ni sababu tukimit aku anakunywa pombe. Na kwa marriage people face challenges. Na challenge inaweza kuwa challenge yoyote. Inaweza kuwa ya ugonjwa. Hautaacha mtu sababu ya ugonjwa. So hata hii ya pombe ni challenge ilikuja ikaingia kwa ndoa. So siwezi mwacha juu ya hiyo. Halafu Bible imesema God hates divorce. Sababu as much as tulianza kuishi pamoja, baadaye tulienda tukaombewa na pastor tukashikanishwa. So tuko na hiyo covenant.
It takes courage for a man to pause and say, I need help. And today we are in Tasia, where a man named Abel reached out to us saying he needs help beat this monster that is alcoholism. Abel will give us a story of how all this started and how deep he is into alcoholism and exactly what kind of help he needs. Welcome to today's episode of My Story. My name is Yvonne Kawira and this is Abel's story.
My name is Abel Gwaro. I'm born in Kisii in a family of 4. I'm the first one. I'm the first born in my family. I have a sister who comes immediately after me, a brother and then a sister.
Okay.
2 of us are married, 2 are not married.
You are among the ones who are married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Life in the village, you grow up, how was it?
I grew in a village called Kenyanya. I went to school, a primary school called Kongo, 2 primary school. I went from 1, I went to Nyakuiba secondary school. I shifted to Nairobi, Kangemi school. Then I went back to Kisii to finish my form 4. Okay. I joined the University of Nairobi. I did not finish. I dropped at first year.
Why is that? What happened?
I didn't like the course.
What was this course?
I was called for environmental science.
But your passion was in it?
I wanted to go for education. Probably I studied mathematics and business. It never went through. I missed 0.9 points, cluster points to go for education. So I dropped. I started working, hoping I can get money. I go back, I sponsor myself because I went under job. When you sponsor yourself, you can go with a CPRES and study. That's never, the dream has never come true. So I married 2017, January 28. Yeah.
It was like a whole wedding thing?
No.
You just met this someone? Tell us more about it. When did you meet? Where did you meet?
We met in a church. Yeah.
Okay.
Winners Chapel. We were serving in the same department in the church. Then we talked, we agreed. But before we got married, I went home.
Okay.
I came back after 1 year. That's when we got married. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you saw about this woman that showed you that this is the one I will end up with?
She's caring, she's loving, and then our moves are not like another lady. She does not joke with life. She's ever serious with life. Yeah. Yeah. Then she was working, I was not working. But she sponsored me to start some business.
Oh, nice.
She never wanted me to be idle in the house. So I started the business. It was working. It was nice. The whole of 20, it was on lighting, academic lighting. She's a graduate from my university. So she taught me how to do it. She bought me a laptop, That's how she sponsored me.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So how was it?
It was nice. Then it was nice. We were making money. We were staying a good life. We had everything in the house. Actually, that's the time our firstborn came.
The little girl we saw.
Yeah, the little girl, you know. Later on, how I dropped from the business, my mom passed on. So we went to Kisi to buy her. We came back, we found the house is empty. Things.
You were robbed?
No, the caretaker took because we did not pay for 2 months.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you went home for the funeral, then you stayed for 2 months?
Yeah. Then my wife was, the job for my wife, she was working at the airport in a duty-free shop, company called Pet International. The job ended also immediately after the funeral. So she started struggling, also started struggling. Later on, when I found out that things were gone, there were no things in the house, my dad sent me to Sudan. Because my dad used to do business in Sudan. She used to come for mitumba in Kenya. She takes them and sells. When he came back to bury my mother, he could not go back. So he sent me to take care of the business. But the person we went with now is the one who took me to the other world, Haliko, what, Sisha.
How long ago was this?
Just 2019.
Wow. Let's go and stand somewhere where you can tell me where all this started and how you were introduced to the other world.
Yeah.
Yani ilikuwa tu juzi.
Just recent, 2019.
Like
Yeah,
it was took you by storm like that?
It was 1st January 2019.
2019. So you're saying this person introduces you to this world and you're completely hooked?
Yeah.
Gee, like just in an instant?
It was in Sudan. You know, Sudan, there is nothing good. There's nothing good actually.
Wow.
The place we were, from Chupa town to the place, is 2 hours and 30 minutes flight, not driving. So it's very far in. So there is nothing good. The only thing there, alcohol, shisha. You know, shisha is not banned like in Kenya. So I was in the shop the first 1 week. The second week, I'm bored. She told me, let us walk. She's a relative actually. Let us walk. I came from Sudan and I stayed at home for like 3 months again. My dad never wanted me at home, so I came to Nairobi. I started hustling. We wanted to give him money because we had worked. Tulikuwa na pesa. Alikuwa anatupeleka hivi tukutane, tukianza tumpate. So meaning alikuwa ameuza. Because ilikuwa mtungi wa gazi, sofa set. You see, there was a lot of money. So hizo zenye tulikuwa tumpelekea asingemsaidia.
Na tena ingebidi ameproduce vitu, angetoa wapi?
Angetoa wapi? I met him on the way. Told me, Abel, come we talk. Then I told my wife. Joras told me we were and we talk. So when I went, I was given his number. Then we called. The wife told him we have money. The following day when I went, it's not there. The wife told me he has gone to the garage to look after his car. I went back. I went like 3 times. I gave up.
So you just decided to let go?
Let go.
Amkutafuta help from the police maybe, kama anaweza kusaidia kupata vitu zenu?
Such procedures is what I don't like in Nairobi.
Yeah. It's hectic, eh? All right. So you went to Sudan and it's boring and you're trying to look for ways to spice up life. Then you end up in this company and...
The first time I was thinking so much about my education. My education was very important. I think the firstborn, and I've passed the exams. I want to invest, but I'm not allowed to do what I want. What I want, what my art is after. Now I've dropped. I've come to work so that I can take myself to university. I met my friend. That friend was a classmate in standard 8, like from primary. So when we did class 8, he went to another school, I went to another school. After high school, he went and pursued medicine in KMTC. So after 3 years, he told me, come to my house, you stay, we look for a way so that you can get a job, you go to school. When I was in his house, he was also alcoholic. He was a drunkard. We used to pass through somewhere, we could drink, but me, I could take small. Some days I will use. Some days I will take. Because I was stressed more about my education.
Yeah.
Later on, I shifted from his house. I went to another friend, to stay with another friend who was not drinking. And that's the second time I gave my life to Jesus. I started going to Winners Chapel. I was worshiping. I was very dedicated, remember, in Winners Chapel. That's where we met with my wife.
Okay.
So later on, when we married, before my mom passed, it was December. My mom had sent me some money. It was 25,000. She told me go and register in Kazneb.
Okay.
So she was willing now to take me back to school. You know, I was hiding this thing. I'm out of school. I was hiding from my parents. But later, they found it out. So my mom was a very nice lady. She sent me some money. I went and registered at Kazneb. I was given the membership card in Kazneb. So I was waiting to start my studies in January. This is December.
Yeah.
That day, it was on a Wednesday. My sister was coming from home. My mom fell sick that Wednesday. On the following Wednesday, my mom passed. So it was 1 week span. She passed on January 1st in the morning. So when I went, everything backfired again about my education. So I gave in Sudan, I gave in to alcohol because I didn't see any future. Seeing I'm in a country where there is nothing, where I said, I now give up. So I gave in to alcohol.
How was the effect the first time you tried it, and at this point you decided, I'm done with life, I'm not trying anymore? How did this affect you?
What I can tell you, Yvonne, once you are decided you are into hardcore, there's nothing again that comes. You know, you have allowed, you have said, now devil,
come in.
I'm here. It works on you. There is nothing again that, it's like your human nature goes. So it's another person is operating from inside you. So there is nothing I was thinking again.
And this was your life now in Sudan. Every day you wake up, how did this affect your normal life now? Because there was you before alcohol. Describe to us who Abel, who is an alcoholic, behaves and wakes up. What's his plan? How does his day look like?
One, I left my wife with my firstborn. I never remembered them one day. 3 months down the line, I don't remember my family. I don't even give them a call.
Oh my God. And now you're in a foreign country?
I'm in a foreign country. Now what made me to come from that foreign country, the same person who introduced me to alcohol accused me of stealing from her, stealing some money from her. So I was arrested that night. Then I was not arrested by the normal policemen. The military police, the military police came for me, and I was thoroughly beaten by the military police. So in the morning, there is a Ugandan lady who was within, and she knew my father. She came and she came to the police station. She talked to them. I was released. When I was released, I had 5,000 Kenya shillings, which had not changed to their currency. I immediately changed the money. I wanted to come back. But the mother of this lady who accused me came for me. She told me, come, we stay with you. I will take you to Kenya when time comes. So I went and stayed 1 month. I came back to Kenya. I never wanted to stay in Sudan again.
All this time, were you not communicating with your family? Or?
I never communicated with my family. When I came back, I now came straight from Kampala to Nairobi. Living in Nairobi, my wife again the house had been robbed. She went to stay with the auntie in Matare. No, before she went to mother to stay with the auntie, she went to stay with a friend. My wife used to work in Barclays Bank before it became absent. So there is a friend who they were working with. The friend told her, come, you stay with me, since you don't have a house now. When I came, I have no news. I've not called even to tell them that I'm coming. So I came, reaching Nairobi. The house is locked, nobody. I'm told they went wrong time ago. So when I'm trying to search for him on calls, I got her on call. She told me the house was locked. I'm staying with a friend. I went to Kisii. Now in Kisii, I'm in Kisii like 6 months. I never tested alcohol these 6 months in Kisii. Never tested. Reason, one, I fear my dad. And I respect him, not only fearing him. So I used to wake up, I go to the shamba, I do some work, I come back, I sleep. Now one day, my dad was angry. He told me, no, you cannot say it here. Go back to Nairobi. That's how I came back to Nairobi. My wife was forced, it's because she had now a new job. She was forced to look for a house. Then we started life. I stayed with my child for like 5 months in the house. I started now hooking the Airtel lines. Then life came back to normal, a little bit normal. That time Airtel was paying good money. So we started life. And again, I was in a company of my cousin who is alcoholic.
Oh Lord.
We are doing this job in one office. I started drinking again.
What is this thing about people staying in company of people taking alcohol, and instead of you converting him to not taking, you end up joining him? How can you describe, what is that thing? Make me understand.
Again, it depends. If you go away from church, and you don't pray a single day, it is the devil who is operating in you. So where will you convert this person to?
Exactly, because even you yourself were not stable at that point.
Where are you converting this person to? It's automatically you are on the same ground, but yours is worse. My case is worse because, you know, even the Bible says, when demons have been sent from inside you, when they come back in a group of 7 plus the one which went, now they are 8. You see, they will operate in you properly than the last time. You know, even these people who don't know God before, they are better than these people who had gone to church. They have known what is the word. There's no way you convert him. Instead, they convert you.
I see. So at what point did it get mpaka ukafika ukaona, now I'm at my rock bottom and I need help? What had you
before
done?
That,
what did you do?
Before that.
What was your
Okay, before that, when I started now drinking with my cousin, I was working, we were doing the job at Pipeline. So one day, I've drunk properly drunk. Now I'm walking on the road back to my house. Do you see this mark here? There's a mark here.
Yeah.
There are those blocks they put to cover the holes along the road. One block was broken. Now I'm walking and I don't know that it's broken. So I fall inside the hole. The stone met me here. This skin was up to here and this one, and there was a hole. The hospitals around were not able to help me. Thank God that now my wife had a cover, which was even covering me. I was taken to Aga Khan. That's how I was saved. Later on, when I'm well,
you're sober.
I'm sober now. I said, I'm not going back. I stayed like 1 month. 1 month later, my cousin came to see me. He told me, let's go to work. You are okay now. We started now going to work again. 2 weeks later, now we have some money, which is hanging. We started drinking again.
Oh Lord, and you can't say no.
Now later, we fought. We started fighting with my cousin. I left him, I came back, I started operating around my area. Again, I stopped drinking for like 1 month. I met another friend who is drinking. You know, stopping to drink is not an issue. You can stop, but it will be for a while. If you stop and you decide from inside and you start looking for help, it will work. But now the problem with me, I will stop drinking. I'm not telling anybody to assist me. I'm not telling even my wife. I just stopped drinking. And then she's okay. She says, my husband has stopped. Later on, I'm back.
She's back to... Okay.
Now, a point, to answer the question now you asked, it reached up, which time I decided, now this thing has reached me to death. It's just 2 weeks ago. I drank, I found myself in a sewage. That's the first day. The following day, I drank, there is a field behind here. I was lying there. Panya ikakuja ikaniuma hapa. I think the panya thought like I'm dead. The third day, I drank, and then again I found myself urinating for myself. No, I said
That's
no.
rock bottom.
This is too much. This is not even the 4th, this is the 50th day. I'm been looking for help from everywhere. My wife has been praying for me. This phone belongs to her. She said, I will leave you with this phone so that you make sure you meet with the phone. Don't give an excuse.
That's interesting. When your wife is telling you to stop drinking, is she like why is she staying with you all this time and supporting you? What does she keep telling you? Are you breaking her heart with all these behaviors? Do you spend money she's set aside for other things? You spend it on alcohol?
No.
Or how do you get money to do this now that you're not working?
There is where I used to work. I used to work for an area. He paid me some 2 months ago, and this money nikapatia wife. When I gave to the wife, I went back and I took the money. Not only that, there is another money we get by selling lines to some people. This money, the last time I brought this money in the house is last month. But this month, I've never brought anything in the house.
You drank it all?
Drink all.
What happened to your phones now that your wife is giving you another phone?
It's not even my phone. My wife bought that phone for me. Nilitupa kwa sewage when I found it. Yeah.
Saizi vile umeamka ukajipata uko kwa field those 3 consecutive days, is it that's the situation that's making you now say I want to change, I want to be better? Or are you afraid you're going to lose your marriage or something?
No. I'm not afraid about losing marriage. I'm afraid of my life because that marriage is part of my life.
Yes, and the kids are looking up to you.
I'm afraid of my life because if I lose that marriage, I've also lost my life. I've also lost my children. Now it is me. It's me. I have a dream. Even if it has backfired several times, I've not gone to school like I wanted. I know I can get help if I decide I leave this thing completely. Napata help and nisaidiwe and so on.
Okay. Na kwa saizi, what kind of help would you like? Would you want to go to the rehab to get your system back in order, then go to school, or in what order do you need this help, and what kind of help do you think is priority for you right now?
If I say a rehab, I don't know how long the rehab will take, but if I get that, if I get a job or I get back to school, because I have decided, but I get someone who would work with me in this channel, mwenye tu ataniongelesha every day. Because if I say, nikisema rehab, where would I leave my family? Because my wife insist that I go to rehab. What about them? But if my wife gets a job, because she has no stable job now, if she gets a job, I can go to a rehab. I organize myself, then I come back, then I start the other things.
Okay. So for you, priority right now is school or rehab? I feel priority is rehab right now, because you can't organize, you can't be there for your family if you're not fully there for your family.
Okay. Rehab priority.
Good.
2, which goes hand in hand with that one.
Yes.
If my wife gets a job,
Okay.
even if I go to that rehab, I will be comfortable.
Okay.
I will be comfortable.
For Kenyan out there who wants to reach out to you and probably link you up with the rehab center or work with you or support you in whichever way they know how, what number can they reach you through?
For now, they need to. I could give the number for my wife.
Okay.
I don't need any cash. But I want to be honest.
Good.
I want to be honest.
You don't want cash right now?
I don't want cash right now. My wife's numbers are 07 25 39 10 12.
Okay.
07 25 39 10 12.
Okay.
Another one 07 20 52 53 63.
Okay. Now,
She's called Anna
Anna.
Tiwa.
Anna Ndiwa. Okay. That your wife has stood by you all this time, seeing you struggle with all these things that you've struggled with to this point, and she has never stepped aside from you. What message do you have for her, for standing by you all this time and giving you 2 beautiful children?
She's the best.
Give her a message. This is your camera.
My wife, Anna, I love you. You have stood for me for more than 6 years. Before even I started drinking, you have been with me. When I started, when you knew it, you never left me. You have been talking to me, you have talked to people, you have talked to pastors, showing me love through prayers. You wake up early in the morning, you pray for me, you hold hands, you pray for me. That's a kind of love that I've never seen before. May God open doors for you. May God protect you. As you send, every day she sends angels to protect me. So today I send angels to protect her with my children.
Amen. Okay. So thank you so much for being vulnerable. It's not easy for a man to open up and say, here, I have messed up again and again, and I've gotten to a point where I need help to rise up and stand firm for my family. So that's commendable. And standing again and saying, it's fine that I have messed up, but I don't want to dwell in that. I also want to rise up and be better for the sake of my life and that of the children that are looking up for me. And also acknowledging that this woman who you married and loved and dedicated all your life to has stood by you.
She stood for me even when I don't bring anything in the house.
Exactly, because
like now we have a rent arrears, but I thank the landlady not pressuring us, but we need to be. You saw my child; they have opened schools.
she's still at home.
Is at home. She's at home. We have arrears, school fees arrears, 4,000 last term, and this time we need like 8,000. But she stays okay. When I tell her, what about this child? Can I go and do something at home? So I send him, no. God will open the doors for the child. You will not go away home to home. If you tell me you are going to a rehab, I will allow you. But home, no. I will stay with you. I pray for you.
That is true love.
So there is one time a pastor told us, let no children come in between you. She has never allowed children to come in between us. You see, the child, my daughter is out, but she still thinks about me. My children have never come in between us.
That's good.
She has true love to me.
So that's something that you hold dear to you, and it's commendable that you've decided this is not the life you want to live.
This is not the life I want to live. Yeah.
And you want to be better for yourself, for your wife, for your kids.
This time round, Yvonne, I decided to talk to people. Those Kenyan schools can help me walk through this journey. Help me. I have decided I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
Tell us how many days you've been sober now and how is this affecting you at the moment?
5 days sober, doing very fine. Because I shake.
Yeah, I could tell in
shake.
the morning.
I shake. Then the body, every corner of the body is hurting because of this alcohol. I said, I'm not losing my life and soon I'm stopping this. Those Kenyans who can help me, let them help me.
Okay.
And my family too.
Does your dad know you're struggling with alcoholism right now?
My dad knows. We have never talked for like 2 months. And my dad gives up very fast. It's not like my mother. He gives up. Okay, both of us, we drink, I and my brother. And the case of my brother is even worse than mine. Because he doesn't have a family. He stays alone. So he doesn't have even a plan. You see. So that's why my father gives up very fast. So that's what made me think twice. Let me go this chance. Then my dad will at least be happy.
Exactly. Okay.
Because there is a time I said I'm going back home. There's a message he sent. He told me if I go back home, he will cut me to pieces.
Did he mean it?
I guess.
Do you think he can actually do that?
He can. He's not happy that I'm drinking.
Yeah. So you feel like you've let down your father?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us this story. We will look forward to talk to your wife. Also, we want to hear her part of the story and what pushed her to remain by your side throughout these challenges and still supporting you, despite the fact that you as a man is not providing for the family as a man should.
Yeah.
And she's not giving up on you. That is something that is commendable. And it's something that, we would want to hear from her. Why she chooses to do this, why she chooses to stand in your space and be that partner that you need. So we thank you so much for being vulnerable with us and sharing your story.
Mimi naitwa Anne Mwende, mzaliwa wa Machakos. Na mimi ndiye Mrs. Abel. Abel ni mume wangu. Tulikutana 2016. So at first sio ati tulimiti akiwa mlevi. Ulevi ilianza venye alienda Sudan. So when nilinotice amekuwa mlevi, at first nilikuwa shocked. Unajua sasa mimi sijaishi na mlevi, sijui walevi wanaandoliwa aje. So as usual ni kuingia tu kwa maombi. That time anakuwa na hustle job ya kuregister lines. Chenye anapata anagawa ya kukunywa. Mwingine analeta kwa nyumba. Mimi huku nafanya job ya commission. Saa zingine tunalipa nyumba, saa zingine hatulipi. Huyo landlord alikuwa mzuri, by God's grace tulikuwa tunaishi tu. Nikimwambia sina, ni sawa, especially when corona came. Nikimwambia sina, anasema wewe lipa ile uko nayo, ile unaweza afford tu lipa. Unaelewa kila mtu ana go through situations. Tukaendelea hivyo, tukaishi kwa hiyo bed sitter. Tukaendelea, tukapata mtoto wa pili. So unaona niko job ya commission, nimepata mtoto wa pili na sina, tunajua job ya commission kama umeenda leave, si hakuna pesa. So for those na imagine alinikujia, kwa hiyo alinikujia hospitali akiwa mlevi. Alinipeleka akiwa mlevi penye niliumwa. Alikuwa anahakikisha wakati masiku zimekaribia he's always around. Hata akiwa mlevi hivyo tu anajua ninahitaji msaada. Akiwa tu hivyo mlevi alikuwa ananisaidia hata kazi za nyumba nini nilikuwa na mimba. Akiwa tu hivyo mlevi anapeleka huyu mtoto mkubwa sasa daycare, ilikuwa daycare. Anampeleka daycare. Mimi nikitoka job nakuja namchukua. Ilikuwa kazi yake ni kumpeleka, yangu ni kumchukua. Hivyo tunasaidiana. Tukikuja kwa nyumba nikilemewa kupika anapika. Anasaidia tu. So wakati niliumwa alikuwa mlevi. Kanipeleka hospitali. Akatukujia hospitali kama wako tu mlevi. Akaenda akaclear. Akatuclear. Hivyo tu anatembea huko na papers huko kwa daktari. Akiwa tu mlevi mpaka naona watu wanamwangalia zile za anaonekana tu kabisa ni mlevi, sio ile ulevi imejificha. Unajua ile ulevi amekuwa akikunywa ni chang'aa. Then tukaendelea hivyo, tumetoka hospitali. Akiwa tu hivyo mlevi, yeye ndiye ananishughulikia. Sasa nimetoka hospitali, siwezi pika, siwezi fanya nini. Hata amka asubuhi, akisha amechemsha soup, amepika labda uji, kitu kama hizo, amepika chakula, alafu anaenda zake. Jioni angekuja akiwa mlevi, anakuja kwanza anaanguka chini. Analala. Then akishtuka anashtuka, na umekula? Na sijakupikia. Anaenda kwa nini? Kwa gasi haraka anaanza kuhakikisha, namwambia hapana, nishakula, nimeletewa food na neighbor. Kuna neighbor wangu pia alikuwa pia ananisaidia, ananiletea food kutoka kwake. Namwambia sisi tushakula na hata kuna chakula iko hapo, unaweza kula, lakini ana feel guilty, anasikia hapana, I'm supposed to cook for you. Tukaendelea hivyo 3 months zikaisha. Na unajua saa hiyo tuna struggle kabisa. Juu yeye analeta kitu kidogo, mimi niko hapo sasa. Tuna struggle, saa zingine tunakula 1 meal. Tunakula like supper. Mchana bora tu huyu mtoto mdogo sasa akule. Mimi bora nimekula breakfast. Then I wait for supper. Maybe lunch nikipata kitu, neighbor akileta ni sawa. Asipoleta ninakaa tu. Tukaendelea hivyo, then niko sasa nafikiria what next. Nimejifungua ndio huyu mtoto. Job ndio hiyo ni ya commission. Bwana ndio huyu ulevi na ana job. Ana hustle tu. So tukaendelea tu, after 4 months nikapata hii job yenye niko sasa. Tukapata sasa haiko ya pesa mingi, ni kidogo but iko better than nothing. Na iko na mshahara at least, haina sio commission peke yake. Ni mshahara lakini ni kidogo. So tukakuja tukadecide now yeye akae na mtoto mdogo. Juu sasa we can't afford house girl. Hatuwezi leta house girl kwa bed sitter. So lazima tujipange. Huyu mtoto mwingine anafaa kwenda shule, ashachelewa. Hajaenda shule. So nikaenda hiyo job, akabaki na mtoto. Na ata take care of huyo mtoto kabisa. Atamfunga pampers, atamuosha, atampea chakula. Akilala anaenda analewa kidogo. Anarudi akiwa mlevi, anaendelea na mtoto. Nikitoka job tu hivi na yeye out. Anaenda. Saa zingine atakuja asubuhi kitu saa 10. Na sasa hiyo amelala nje. Ukiona hajakuja kwa nyumba, amelala kwa mitaro, amelala kwa sewage, amelala kwa baridi, amelala kwa mfua. So mimi nilikuwa tunaishi kwa maombi, naambia Mungu tuma malaika wamlinde mahali yako. Hiyo ndio ilikuanga prayer. Imekuwa prayer yangu hata leo. Naambianga tu Mungu. Sasa mimi nasikia umeme imekuja, nasikia nasema tu, naambia tu Mungu tuma malaika wamlinde mahali yako. So tukaendelea hivyo, tukaamua sasa wacha tuhamie 1 bedroom, tutafute house girl ndio na yeye atoke nje, hustle, alafu tutoke mbali na kijiji ndio wale marafiki wa huko wa nini achane na wao. La sasa nilikuwa nafikiria akiacha tukutoka huko atakuja huku sasa akuwe serious na maisha. But wapi? I thank God because hiyo time ako na watoto, akili yake hata akikunywa inamkumbusha ako na watoto. So anakunywa anarudi. Saa zingine atabeba chupa akunywe kwa nyumba. Akiwa tu na watoto. Saa zingine napata tu machupa za pombe tu hapo. So ikafika mahali after tumepata house girl. Sasa ikawase. So unaona ako na freedom. Anatoka tu, anaenda na kunywa. Na ameumia mara mingi. Amewahi dungwa hapa hivi. Mpaka nikaona kama jicho itatoka. Nikampeleka hospitali akaenda akashona. Amewahi gongwa hapa. Mpaka unaona damu imejikusanya hapa nyuma. Nikamnilio sasa hakuna pesa ya hospitali, hakuna nini, nikamfanya tu kumtreat ile maji moto na ya chumvi. Hivyo ikaisha. Amewahi gongwa hapa, alikuja hapa na bleed damu. Akaniambia amegongwa sijui na ile kitu ya kufungua pombe. Alikuwa na bleed, nikamwosha hiyo damu. Ameumia mara mingi. Most of the time anakuja kwa nyumba, anakaa tu matope, anakaa tu chokora, anakaa sewage. But the reason nimestick na yeye hata kama ako hivyo ni sababu tukimit hakuwa anakunywa pombe. Na kwa marriage people face challenges. Na challenge inaweza kuwa challenge yoyote. Inaweza kuwa ya ugonjwa. Hautaacha mtu sababu ya ugonjwa. Na ugonjwa inaweza kuwa ya relative, ya spouse ama ya mtoto. Na imekuja kwa ndoa, imewa affect financially, emotionally, psychologically. Hautaenda juu ya hiyo. Marriage inaweza face na challenge ya labda mmoja amekosa kazi, vitu mingi tu. So hata hii ya pombe ni challenge ilikuja ikaingia kwa ndoa. So siwezi mwacha juu ya hiyo. Halafu Bible imesema God hates divorce. Sababu as much as tulianza kuishi pamoja, baadaye tulienda tukaombewa na pastor tukashikanishwa. So tuko na hiyo covenant. Tumefanya covenant before God that we are a husband and wife. And God hates divorce. So siwezi nikamdivorce juu ya pombe. Hata ile kitu Bible imekumbali kidogo mtu anaweza acha mtu ni sababu ya unfaithfulness. Sijaiona ama kusikia amekuwa unfaithful kwangu. Sasa kitu ingine, shida ingine yake hawezi kaa na simu. Unaona hata sasa anatumia simu yangu. Akikupigia alikupigia na simu yangu. Hawezi kaa na simu. Akikuwa tu na simu leo, kesho hutaipata, imeenda kwa pombe. Anakaa tu hivyo. Watu wakimtaka ni mimi wana conduct. Hata ujaribu kumnunulia simu haitakaa. Unapata akipata pesa sio ati yako selfish. Unajua kuna ule mtu unaona amepata pesa, ameenda amejinunulia manguo, amejinunulia viatu, nyinyi mko huku mnahangaika, hamna chochote. Najuanga haikwangi ni kupenda kwake. Atapata pesa atapeleka yote kwa pombe, hata yeye mwenyewe imsaidii. Sasa nilikuja nikaona things are getting out of hands. Wakati the last time amelewa, alikuja na brother yake. Hako mlevi tu kabisa. Alafu amejisusulia. Hapo ndio niliona this thing is getting out of hands. Amejisusulia, ako na sewage, amevaa tu vest ya white. Vest. Ile kuvaa ndani ya shirt. Na iko na sewage mpaka hapa. Na amejisusulia. Alafu ajielewi. Alafu wote wako na sewage, wanataka kuingia kwa nyumba na brother yake. Ni kwanza nikawafungia nje nifikirie what to do. Kufunga nikafunga mlango na padlock. So wako wawili. So nilikuwa nataka hata afadhali brother yake angeenda yeye akuje peke yake. At least ni handle mmoja because it is ni ngumu. So nikasikia wana shout kwa mlango, wana shout, nikaona tena hao wataamusha neighbors. Na kuna mtoto mdogo kwa neighbor wetu. So nikafungua. Kufungua, so brother yake unajua amemuinsight. Anakufungia kwa nini? Chukua vitu zako uende. Enda achana na yeye. Anatusi vitu hata siwezi taja hapa. Ananitusi yake yote. So akaingia akachukua suitcase. Akaweka manguo zake, documents, kila kitu. Na sasa hiyo siwezi mcontrol sababu is not even himself. Hata hajui chenye anafanya. So akaenda. So hiyo jioni mimi nikaambia Mungu hao ni watoto wako. Unajua ile umechoka hata hujui unaomba nini. Nikaambia Mungu hao ni watoto wako. Wasaidie tu. Hivyo ndio uliwaumba. Mwambia hiyo. So the following asubuhi nikiomba maombi asubuhi nikaambia Mungu mimi ulisema kila mtu ako na ndoa yake. Na mimi nataka ndoa yenye iko na amani na iko na furaha. Mungu kama huyu ndiye bwanangu kabisa. Arudi hapa. Na kama sio yeye aende tu kabisa, asiwahi rudi tena, aende apotee tu kabisa, asiwahi rudi. Mimi niliomba tu hiyo maombi, nikasema labda naombanga Mungu maombi sio yangu, maybe wacha tu sasa niombe Mungu aniambie kama huyu bwana nafaa kuendelea na yeye ama niachane na yeye. Nikikaa najitayarisha kwenda job, alifika. Na sasa hiyo ana suitcase na ana manguo. Aliambia ameacha kwa rafiki yake. Kakuja kuomba msamaha, tukaongea. Bado ako mlevi but sasa sio ile nini. Kanisindikiza mpaka stage. Mimi nikamhug na nikamwambia itakuwa tu poa na nikaingia kwa gari nikaenda job. Na nikashukuru tu Mungu juu si amemrudisha.
So unaweza taka maybe kuzumiona hizo situation zote zenye amepitia, unaweza taka asaidiwe vipi?
Ningetaka akuwe reformed kabisa. Akuwe reformed sababu hiyo situation inani affect sana financially. Unapata kuna time tulikuwa tunangoja pesa, ilikuwa ya chama savings. Akatumia around 6k. Na mimi niko huku nangoja, hakuna food kwa nyumba, hakuna nini. You know alikunywa yote. So unapata amekunywa pesa. Kama saizi mtoto wetu hajaenda shule. Na hata hatujui mahali tunaweza toa pesa kumpeleka shule. Hata siwezi sema ati nangoja mshahara ya next month. This month ishakuja na ishaisha already. Siwezi sema nangoja ya next month juu itakuja tu na ishi. Unaona kama sio hizi pesa amekuwa akipata, hata kama ni kidogo anakunywa, tungekusanya tupeleke mtoto shule. Lakini mtoto anashinda kuuliza mama, watoto ameenda shule, mimi sijaenda. Na sio kupenda kwetu. Hatuwezi hata afford vitabu za kumbahia. Ako na arrears za last term. Last term yote hakulipa. Sasa hizi unaongopa hata kumpeleka na hata huja clear arrears za last term. So ako tu kwa nyumba. And it's all because of, alafu unaona venye anakunywa hizo machang'aa zinafungulia shetani milango ya poverty. Unajua kuchang'aa inakuanga associated na poverty. So unapata hata kusonga mbele kama familia inakuwa ngumu. Unaona nyumba yetu haina hata viti za kukalia. Tunatumia hizo stools. Unapata hata TV hatuoni, hakuna. TV iko lakini hakuna decoder. Decoder waliuza na brother yake wakakunywa pombe. Wakakunywa chang'aa. Sasa hatuwezi ona hata news. Unapata hata tu vitu tudogo hatuwezi afford. Yaani imekuwa tu mimi nikipata pesa na concentrate tu na basic needs na hata itoshi. Juu sasa mshahara ikiisha ni kuingia kwa mandeni. Mandeni nayo niko nayo chungu mzima. Nikijaribu to survive. But the reason I hold on to him, sababu is a responsible man. Venye nimekuelezea venye amekuwa akinini watoto. Alafu watoto wanampenda yao yote. Hata akikuja akiwa hivyo mlevi amelala hivi. Huyu mtoto huyu mwenye anajua kuongea anashinda kuniambia mama mpatie ndadi chakula. Mama hujapatia, ninajua yeye haelewi, yeye hajiwezi. Namwambia ngoja tu alalala kidogo atamta. Hapana. Enda muamshe umpatie chakula. Hujapatia ndadi chakula. Sasa unashinda huyu mtu sasa ukimwacha watoto. Hata huyu mdogo. Hata nitoke job akishanyonya amemalizana na mimi. Anataka baba yake. Watoto wanampenda tu yao yote. Alafu yeye vile ninamjua na vile tulikutana. He's a responsible man. He's a good man. He's very loving. Alafu hata akiwa hivyo mlevi, hajai ni chapa. Hayuko violent. Hajai ni tusi. Hajai like kuniambia kitu itani hurt emotionally. So kwa nini nimwache? Hajai ni tusi. Na hajai ni chapa. Hajai hata ni point. Hajai kuniambia kitu yenye itafanya ni feel useless. Anakuanga tu na respect zake hata kama amelewa. Na unasikia na regret. Ananiambia imagine hiyo pesa nimekunywa yote. Ananiambia tu nilipata pesa. Na ataniambia yote yenye alipata. Na akaniambia hiyo pesa ikikuja kwa simu yake ama kwake. Akishaambiwa ako na pesa. Akili yake huwa inamwonyesha tu kwenda kwa pombe. Hata ajuangi venye anafika huko, anajipata tu huko na anajipata ashalewa.
So, jana alisema message kwako, alisema zile qualities anapenda about wewe na akakupatia message, utaiona video kikunja. So pia inaweza takumwambia message tukimalizia.
Abel, my husband and the father of my children. Ninakupenda tu sana. Na ninajua hii monster we will conquer it in Jesus name. Nimekuwa nikiomba na tutapata wasaidizi, tutapata watu wa kutembea na wewe mpaka iishe kabisa na tutaishi maisha mazuri. Ninakuamini, ninajua you are a responsible man. Ninajua you are a loving man. Haujawahi nionyesha madharau, haujawahi nichapa, haujawahi nitusi. Na ninakupenda sana.
My name is Faith Nafula Atsango. I'm a counseling psychologist by profession. Yes. Alcoholism is a state where you're not able to function without taking alcohol. Your life depends on alcohol, right? And so we have people who are more prone to alcoholism than the others. We have people who are born in families where they were born and found people taking alcohol. Actually, it's alcohol that has brought them up. They've seen their grandfathers, their great-grandfathers, their fathers taking alcohol. And then they end up saying, "Toto wa nyoka ni nyoka, so I'm not any different." So we say, with that case, we term that as hereditary alcoholism. That you're born in it, you found people doing it, and yeah, you move. Some, it's acquired, and it's acquired in many other ways. You acquire it through maybe peer pressure. You want to look cool. Your friends are taking alcohol. You also want to belong. Another one is through stress. Coping mechanism. We have people who take alcohol to cope, to deal, to drain their sorrows. So it's both hereditary and acquired. So it depends on the circumstances that people are surrounded with. Now, when you see yourself not functioning without taking that substance, just know you're addicted. When you find fun in taking alcohol, when you get excuses every time you want to take alcohol and you justify it, you're drowning yourself there. When you see that you've stopped functioning, like you don't take care of yourself, you don't eat, you don't check your hygiene, you just depend on alcohol, and you find fun staying in bars and around alcohol or any other drug, then you're draining yourself into alcoholism. And alcoholism is self-diagnosed. You can actually tell if you're an alcoholic or not. We have people who take alcohol for fun, for passing time. They can only take alcohol when maybe they've gone to parties. It's not a must you take alcohol. But if you wake up and feel like I have to take alcohol, then you're on your way to alcoholism, yes. One thing, self-awareness is important. As I've said before, it's a self-diagnosing condition, right? So when you realize you are addicted and you want to come out of it, you need to seek help. And first of all, the help that you can get is from the health workers in hospitals through counseling. They can give you therapy, right? Another one is through detoxification, which happens in hospitals. You go to hospital, they give you medication, they detoxify you, then you can move on. The third one is we have some special medications, which when you take, the urge of taking alcohol goes away. But at the end of it all, it's all in the mind. If you want to stop it, you will stop. It's not easy because we also have these withdrawal symptoms. You see somebody oozing saliva, not functioning well, crying most of the time, feeling sad most of the time. So you need to just seek help and accept that is happening to you and move on as a person, as an individual. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Yeah,